President, my dear brother William Ruto, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Kenyan government, honorable members of the National Assembly and Senate, honorable members of Judiciary, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Honorable County Governor of Kuti, ladies and gentlemen, habari za asubuhi. Before I begin, I would like first to take this opportunity to renew the heartfelt condolences of the people of Senegal to the brotherly people of Kenya on the passing of Mr. Raila Odinga, a former Prime Minister and a great leader in the political history of Kenya. I pay tribute to the memory of the illustrious departed and express my deep compassion to President Ruto, to his family, and to the people of Kenya. May his soul rest in peace. I would like to thank President Ruto for the warm welcome and all the attention we accorded to me and my delegation since our arrival in this brotherly country, home to the wonders of Masai Mara and Kilimanjaro. I am here in the invitation of my brother, President William Ruto, as a guest of honor on this day celebrating Kenyan heroes. I express my gratitude to him for this gesture that shows the excellent quality of relations between our two countries. I'm also here because I'm deeply committed to the duty of remembrance. Our heroes deserve all honors. They deserve our respect. They deserve our admiration. The celebration of Kenyan heroes who risked their lives fighting for the independence of their country is a great tribute that commands respect and pride. The members of Mau Mau National Liberation Movement suffered fierce repression at the hands of those whose sole aim was to perpetuate the colonial order. Jomo Kenyatta, Achieng' Oneko, Bildad Kagia, Fred Kubai, Kangu Kurungwa, Paul Kay, and their companions suffered the worst horrors of the colonial power, leading to the death of thousands of Kenyans, countless arrests, torture, and massive imprisonment. Their fate is a reminder that colonial history is not just about enslavement, but also and above all about struggle, dignity, and justice too long delayed. I would like to seize this opportunity to pay tribute to these worthy sons and daughters of Kenya and African whose memory must be etched out into our collective consciousness. I'd admire their courage and determination in the anti-colonial resistance. With their blood and sweat, they wrote a great page in the glorious history of liberation. Ladies and gentlemen, colonial repression was not an isolated case in Kenya. We suffered the same in Senegal, where anti-colonial national resistance movements blossomed against the European imperialist power offensive in Africa. Our fellow countrymen suffered unspeakable repression. For instance, on December 1944 at Charoy Black Barracks. Innocents and unarmed Senegalese riflemen, with their brothers in arms from other African countries, were massacred by the colonial power. Their only crime was to demand the payment of their allowance, bonuses, and other entitlements. This was one of many premeditated criminal acts, and the facts are undeniable. Out of duty of remembrance, truth, and justice, we cannot forget these horrors, nor the sacrifice of our national liberation heroes and founding fathers of our nation. The full history must be recalled. These valiant sons and daughters of Africa must be celebrated because celebration is an educational tool in the transmission of our values and virtues. This is why I initiated a series of activities to pay tribute to all victims of slavery, colonialism, and all past injustice. The first such initiative was to commemorate the 18th anniversary of the massacre of Senegalese riflemen last year. We are preparing to mark the second edition on December next, in communion with the 16 other troops contributing nations to the regiment commonly known as Senegalese riflemen. Ladies and gentlemen, to consolidate these various remembrance initiatives on the African continent, it is vital that we develop synergy in our efforts. I am on the view that to reclaim our history and restore the memory and dignity of these valiant Africans, we need to take several steps, including: first, build monuments and museums in honor of our heroes to serve as open spaces of reverence and remembrance. Second, build documentation and research centers to keep records, testimonies, and narratives about our heroes, while supporting research and education on this history of great African resistance fighters against slavery, colonialism, and worse form and injustice. Third, our streets, public squares, and buildings shall bear the names of our heroes so that their sacrifice and faith of arms be etched into our daily life and collective history. Fourth, teach our history in our education curricula. Thus, future generation will grow up with a thorough understanding of these episodes of our past. Fifth, initiate throughout Africa days dedicated to our heroes, like the one we are celebrating today. This is what will sustain the memory of our heroes, just as sustainable energy solution, the theme of this year's celebration, will help transform our lives. With the mastery of energy and sufficiency production capacity, Africa shall build the foundation of her development, the engine for her economic transformation, and foster technological and social innovation. Long live to memory of Kenyan heroes. Long live the memory of African heroes. I thank you for your kind attention.